Welcome to another episode of Bucs Weekly. Of course, I am your host, Chef Barnes, and we are talking about a victory episode because the Bucs kicked off the preseason with a big win out in Cincinnati, 17-14. Kyle Trask played pretty well. Okay, we saw a lot of good things out of this Bucs offense, a lot of good things out of this defense. You know, not the highest scoring game, but when you're playing the 2s and 3s and 4s, this is what happens. Okay, so if it's a tight game like this, this is what you want to see. Good defense by both teams. But we saw some good things. We're going to look at some of the things with Kyle Trask. But overall, I must say an impressive preseason game. Opening win by the Bucs in the preseason on the road. At home. Sorry, not on the road. Actually, no, it was on the road in Cincinnati. I'm sorry, I'm getting old. In Cincinnati. All right, so what we're going to talk about is, of course, Kyle Trask. He's going to be one of the main focuses of this episode. We're going to get into that a little bit further into the show. That's going to be the main part of the show. Once again, I want to recap what we saw. Once again, no Baker Mayfield. No Mike Evans. Those guys sitting out as we expected. There's Kyle Trask and a lot of the 2s and 3s out there. And he's kind of gotten used to playing with the backups because most of the preseason time he's been here in the preseason, that's what he's played with. And it's a hard thing to do because that's usually the guys who haven't worked together a ton. I'm talking about the offensive line especially. So you get a lot of breakdowns in protection. You get, they have a hard time consistently running the football. So you don't have the protection that you have with that first unit out there. So last year, the one time he got to play with the first unit was because he was competing with Baker Mayfield. So this year, he goes out there. He knows he's the backup. He has to play with the backups. And played pretty well. We saw a bunch of guys make some quality plays, some great catches. Even he saw a name I haven't, as a blast from the past for me, CJ Procise, guy I've covered, scouted since he was at Notre Dame. Here he is out here with the Bucs, catching some passes and running and toting the rock. So they got a good mix of play from everybody. And we're going to get into the box score and talk about some of the stats from this game and really dig into it because overall, I must say this was a very impressive preseason game. Had to fight, right? They wanted to win this game. They had to fight. Cincinnati did jump up on them and make some big plays. But they did a great job of pulling this one out. And they really went in there. They got the late score to win the game. Great touchdown pass, great athletic play to go over the defender to get it at that. So, this was what we would definitely call a nice win. Okay. So look at Kyle Trask numbers, and he and John Wolford split time. 12 of 20, 144 yards. Now, he had a nice throw. He had the one interception. So he was sacked once. So, his QB rating, when you look at the numbers, isn't stellar, but you're not expecting that in the preseason. Overall, though, when you look at the film, a lot more impressive. And we're going to talk about all of that. John Wolford threw for less yards, no interceptions, was sacked twice compared to his one time. Overall, a solid day. Now, said the touchdown pass, they didn't get the touchdown, but they did get it with Bucky Irving. Ramon Jefferson, New York product. It's a little close to home because I know people who know Ramon in New York. So it's seeing him with the Bucs and actually finding the end zone was something nice. But you didn't have really one Bucs performer in the running game where you said, ooh, that was a great performance. You had a very good performance from Sean Tucker, 10 carries, 68 yards. Did have that one run of 26 yards, When you take away from that, he's still over 4+ yards a carry. So that one big run put him up close to 7 yards a carry. So without the big run, you take that away, you look at the numbers, he's still a guy that ran for almost 5 yards a carry. So very productive day for him. Not so much for DJ Williams, 10 carries, 29 yards. Bucky Irving, now you look for certain things from him. You found the end zone, but 6 carries, 28 yards. Not a bad, right? Solid day. So over 4 yards a carry. After that, once again, Ramon Jefferson, 2 for 6. Wolford, 2 for 4. Kyle Trask with 2 rushes, right? But, it was a short yardage runs. So, we're seeing a wide spread out of receivers getting the ball. So Devin Cope, we talked about Devin Cope get a catch. What a big, you're seeing some of the guys we talked about from the, from all the preseason talk, some of the draft talk that we've talked about, starting to go out there in the preseason and kind of show up a little bit, right? So defensively, they played pretty well, right? We're going to talk about that. Leading the way in tackles, J.J. Russell at 7. Okay, not bad for a preseason game where you're splitting time. There's, if there was a full game, you go, well, 7 tackles is okay, but you would like to see more. But you're splitting time, 7 tackles is a good thing. All right. Keenan Isaac with a nice interception. Great play that he made. Finding turnovers, something that you wanted to see, right? There were also, trying to remember if there were fumbles. Yes, there was a fumble. Kyle Trask did fumble, but Cincinnati did not fumble, so we didn't force any fumbles. Overall, when you look at the numbers, not bad. They didn't. Jermaine Burton had a big day for Cincinnati, 3 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. So there were certain things we did defensively. You go, ooh, but overall, solid performance by his offense and defense. Like I said, they did find a way to the quarterback, but they didn't get the sacks, right? They got pressures, but not sacks. They were able to impact the pocket. They were able to slow down, negated the Cincinnati running game. So far, so good there. But overall, I think the main story we're going to talk about is Kyle Trask, and you see why. All right, so what we're going to do is go to a quick break. We're going to come back here. We're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about that offensive line, the backups, how they held up. And once again, we saw both of those centers play in this game, Hainsey and Barton, right? They both played the center position, both got out there, made some quality. They made some. It was a very good game by both of them. So this is going to be a very good competition the rest of camp to see who comes out on top. But overall, that's been big. But we're going to take that break. We're going to come back. We're going to dig into Kyle Trask a little bit more here on Bucs Weekly. Stay tuned.
Enjoy 40% off site-wide. Vitable takes the guesswork out of feeling good. Get your own personalized daily vitamin pack safely delivered to your doorstep every month. Take their online quiz to find out which vitamins and minerals can support your personal needs based on your own diet and lifestyle. Hashtag only what you need, nothing that you don't. All vitamins are manufactured in Australia at the highest quality standard. Ingredients come in the best form for their absorption by your body. Enjoy 40% off site-wide using code NBS40 at checkout.
We are back. So we said we were going to dig into this Kyle Trask thing. Is that he and Wolford played, but the main eyes on Trask. He was the higher pick. John Wolford's a journeyman backup. Kyle Trask was drafted by this team to potentially be the future. Baker Mayfield took that away from him, but overall, he may be a long-term backup here, right? So we wanted to see development. And I think we got to see some of that with Kyle Trask. Let's take a couple of highlights for Kyle Trask, right? And you're going to see some of these throws here. Look at this one. Into the tight window. That's a very tight window. He fits it in there, completes the pass. All right. Drops back again, goes over the middle. Tight window, goes high. They're able to pull it down. Now, if that's missed, it's a little bit risky because it could go to that safety to sit behind it. Now, a little behind there on the end cut. And this one here was a nice throw. Now, they took this play away because, all right, but overall, this is a great throw. It's only where we're going to rewind that last one again. I want you to see, right, where this ball is placed. Okay, so once again, look at the height of the throw. I'm going to slow it down again and look at him elevate. Now, he didn't have to elevate. He could have just kept going, running to the back of the end zone, but he elevates. All right, and this is kind of what got the penalty is that he actually pushes off when he elevates. But you're seeing it's a nice high throw where only this receiver can get it. All right, and that's part of the thing there. Only a receiver can get it. All right, if this was, all right, if this was a little more underthrown, that DB makes a play on it. So this is a great throw. Okay, and then you're going to see finally the check down after this to Procise. So again, sees it, throws it, and he gives him a chance to run. First down. Okay, so good read, right? What we're seeing there is Kyle Trask doing what you want him to do. Okay, he's doing exactly what you want him to do, and that is go out there, be efficient. And once again, now he made the one mistake with the interception. But overall, he was efficient, he's effective, and led the points that got you to win. All right, so that's a much improved Kyle Trask because remember, he would be out there with the backups before. He would struggle. They wouldn't seem to put up enough points to win. He would take sacks. He'd hold the ball too long, or he'd try to play hero ball and force throws. He wasn't doing that this past week. He was playing in rhythm. He was making some tough throws. Like I said, those tight one, that first one on that highlight, into between two defenders with a bullet. And they closed quick, and he still fitted in there between two defenders. That's the Kyle Trask I thought we would see coming out of Florida. It took a long time to get to this point because, let's face it, I have said it time and time again on this show that they did him a disservice when Tom Brady was here because it was all about Tom Brady, and you had a veteran in Blaine Gabbert, and he got scraps. He could potentially have been a way better quarterback than Blaine Gabbert, but you had to get him ready. And when they had a chance to do it, they still didn't do it when Tom Brady stepped away from the team that last year in training camp. It was every opportunity to get Kyle Trask ready, and they did not do it. They kept putting Blaine Gabbert out there with the ones, and it should not have been the case. Kyle Trask should have been out there with the ones, getting those important reps with the best players on the team, not with the guys that may not even be on the roster. That was criminal what they did to him then. It's great to see him grow up now. It's great to see him making those throws. Great to see him staying in that pocket and able to slide up and evade pressure and deliver a good ball, something he was not able to do before. He was very statuesque. He took too many hits. He tried to slide in the pocket, tried to run wide all the time. Now you're seeing him work the pocket like a veteran quarterback and deliver tough throws in the traffic. This is the Kyle Trask that we should have seen so many times, and we hadn't seen it in the past. We're finally starting to get a little of that Kyle Trask now. And kudos to this coaching staff for getting him to this point right now. This needed to happen. Okay. Like I said, there were some plays there. That was a bad throw. Like I said, again, a little behind the receiver. He throws that inside. He keeps running. So there are certain plays where you look at it and say, yeah, he's still got room to grow. But you want to know what? You would definitely feel more comfortable with this version of Kyle Trask running out there in a regular season game and believe that you could actually compete with your starters than what you saw in the past when they were playing on a Blaine Gabbert. This is the Kyle Trask that the Bucs needed to see. This is the Kyle Trask the Bucs need as their number two. This is the Kyle Trask that could potentially if anything ever happens to Baker Mayfield, become potentially your starter. So this is the Kyle Trask you wanted to see. This is the Kyle Trask the Bucs need, and this is what they've been waiting for so long. Is the guy that they drafted, they believe could be more than just a third string quarterback. They drafted him high enough because of it. You're seeing it, and he's playing a lot better than he has in the past. And that's one of the reasons why you have to be excited for what you saw in this preseason game. And then, unfortunately, the preseason now is what it is, right? We don't see the starters a lot. We had the 4 preseason games. You didn't really see them much in the first game. So I'm a little in the second, a series of 2. They played a good couple of series or a half in the third one. And then it was all the guys fighting for their jobs in the last one. Okay, most starters were sitting there in ball caps. You only have 3 of them now, and a lot of them are using the scrimmages because they feel they can keep guys safe in the scrimmages. And then they're putting the guys out there that have to fight for jobs in the 3 games. Makes sense. Whether we like it or not, because you want to see the starters, you don't get to go to the practices all the time, right? And watch those scrimmages. So it's very important for people to see those guys. They want to see their starters. And they're not getting that a lot in the preseason. Certain teams are doing it. Some teams are not doing it at all. Okay. So when we see Baker Mayfield this week, I think we're going to see a little of him. I don't think you'll see him week 3, though. Okay. I think we may see a series or 2 out of Baker Mayfield. I think that's a possibility. So it's something very important to see the kind of development of players like Kyle Trask. It's very important to see players like Bucky Irving out there competing, Ramon Jefferson out there competing, DJ Williams out there competing. Okay? These are all guys that you want to see out there making plays. Okay? I'll tell you another player that impressed me. And we knew Ryan Miller was going to go out there and make plays. Cody Thompson's a guy I liked a lot coming out of Toledo. Right? 4 targets, 3 catches, 26 yards. Now you look at the average, just not a lot, right? 8.7 and a long of 12. But these are all possession catches, and most importantly, key possession catches, right? So that's a guy that may stick around. If you think about the depth of the receiver, he can do certain things, right? So you're going to see certain guys here make some plays and try to stick around. And don't be surprised if they can play special teams. They just might. So we've talked about Kyle Trask. We've talked about this preseason game. It's time to start to put that to bed. What happens next with this Bucs team? Well, on to week 2. There you go, right? Big preseason game coming up. Jacksonville. All right. The Jags. Now, can they come out there and play that same kind of defense versus Trevor Lawrence and company? This is a very tough Jacksonville team. So I'm really anxious to see how they do. So far, they scrimmaged today. They did their, team, mixed practice today. A lot of reports that they were taking it to the Bucs. So maybe game day is a different story. All right. So this is going to be big. It's going to be a big test for the defense, especially if Trevor Lawrence and that crew play. They played last week. Travis Etienne looked very good. Guy, it's very dangerous. Tough test for your linebacking core. Tough test for this pass rush and secondary. This defense is going to be tested against this team. If Baker Mayfield in them play, they have a chance to go up against the defense that I believe will help them get in the rhythm. I think the Jaguars defensively have a good pass rush, very good secondary, but they're a little light at the linebacker position. I think that's one of their struggles. They're not overly deep in the secondary. They've had a good draft this year to kind of bolster that. So we'll see how the young guys help improve it faster, or if it's a time will tell kind of deal there. But I think the best thing they can do is let them take your lumps in the cooperative practices get in the game, let your guys go out there and take it back to when the scoreboard matters. Okay. And then you can go back to it to film and go, yeah, they got us in the scrimmages. But when we got out there and it was live hitting and quarterbacks are live, and we went out there and we showed that we were the better team. And that may come back to help you at a later date. So an all Florida practice, all Florida game this week. So we'll be excited to see where this goes with these two teams. Last but not least, okay, we are looking at getting closer and closer. Right? Second preseason game. Next week will be the final preseason game. We've got a couple of days before they go in the cuts, and then it's time for the regular season. This is rapidly approaching. So, Bucs fans, I'm telling you right now, this is your opportunity to really, really focus in on this team and understand who you have, what you have, and what you're capable of. You saw what last year's team did. That doesn't always translate from year to year. We saw it, the New York Giants went into the playoffs, won a playoff game in Minnesota, lost to the Eagles, and then last year they were abysmal. Okay? And it was virtually the same team. We didn't really lose a lot, right? Virtually the same team. They were healthy too. But didn't matter. They weren't as good. So you don't want to be that team. This division is yours for the taking. We talked about it. New Orleans is trying to get younger. Atlanta's very improved, and we saw them move today. They went out there and they got, big pass rusher from New England. All right. So they added more pass rush. Atlanta is getting scarier. Carolina, I watched that preseason game versus New England. Whew, it's a rough team to watch. It's a rough watch. Okay, they're a couple of years away. Okay, so when you look at it, Atlanta's getting scarier. You can't come out here and struggle early. Right? This can't be a year where you come out there and go 3-2, 3-3. You can't do that. This year you have to come out 4-1, 5-1, 5-0. All that stuff would be great because Atlanta is going to be tough. They're shown they are a better team. They seem to have a better grasp of what they're doing offensively. They're looking like a better defense. And like I said, with the addition of Matt Judon today via trade with New England, bolsters that pass rush. They're not playing in Atlanta. They're not. Okay. They're doing everything that they need to do to improve that team quickly. They are not playing. So if you come out here and think that just because we won 3 straight NFC South titles, it's going to be 4 in a row, and we got this in the bag, they're showing you that ain't nothing guaranteed here in the NFL. Okay. You come out there and think that you're just going to walk through people, you're going to find out most people are going to put you in your butt. So this team has the potential to win you a 4th consecutive NFC South crown. But they're going to have some stiff competition. You have to own Carolina. You have to own New Orleans. We can't split with New Orleans anymore. And you have to earn at least a split with Atlanta. You can't go down 0-2 to Atlanta. Atlanta, it was just on paper till last week, but they looked pretty good. Okay? And they just added more. So they looked pretty good, and they added more. This team's going to be tough the way they're looking right now. Right? So if they come fully together, they're going to be scary. So you got to get this together now. It's going to be imperative that we see the starters go out there and get some kind of rhythm going against somebody other than your own defense or another team in scrimmaging where everything's controlled. The quarterbacks aren't getting hit. The whistles are quick. No. You want to see it when live action hits that your offense is able to go up and down the field and finish in the end zone. Okay, we had a field goal and a couple of TDs last week. So we found the end zone a couple of times, but 17 ain't going to be enough to do it in the regular season consistently. You've got to come out here and score and really score. So All right. So you will see me at the normal time next week. Okay, I will be traveling the rest of the week, so that's why this is coming out a little bit earlier. We dropped it in the weekend last week, and we're going to try and drop this during the week this week. Back on our normal schedule next week. Okay, so less traveling, more stuff going on locally. Bucs Weekly will be back next week. There will be no skipping a week. All right, so make sure you tune in next time. Of course, I am Jeff Barnes here covering the Bucs for Team and BS Media. Make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're following our social media accounts. And make sure you tune in next week for Bucs Weekly. Thanks for watching. Buckify, take us out.
Go Bucs, baby.